The desert wind carries stories. It whispers across the dunes, polishing the faces of colossal statues and sweeping through the columns of forgotten temples. This is Egypt, a land born from the rhythm of the Nile. Its waters rise and fall, bringing life to the parched earth, just as dynasties have risen and fallen through the millennia. For countless generations, this river has been the lifeblood of a civilization that reached for eternity. Its people built monuments not of stone, but of time itself. They sought to conquer death, to carve their legacy so deeply into the world that it could never be erased by the shifting sands. Yet, time is a patient, relentless force. It swallows kingdoms whole. It buries cities and turns the names of mighty pharaohs into faint echoes. Along the fertile banks of the Nile, where life once thrived in abundance, secrets lie dormant, waiting. They are hidden beneath layers of silt and sand, guarded by the silence of centuries. Here, the past is not truly gone. It is merely asleep. The air itself seems thick with memory, with the ghosts of priests and scribes, of warriors and queens. One must only learn how to listen, how to read the silent language of the stones. We journey back, not with maps, but with memory. We follow the sun's path across the sky, just as the ancients did. It is a journey into a world where gods walked among mortals, and the line between myth and history was as fluid as the great river itself. We seek a story that was deliberately erased, a chapter torn from the grand narrative of Egypt. It is the tale of a queen whose beauty was legendary, and a city built in her honor, a city that vanished from history as if it were a mirage, a fleeting dream in the vast, unforgiving wilderness of the desert. The search begins where all Egyptian stories do, with the sun. It was the giver of all life, a powerful deity named Ra. Each morning, its rising was a victory over the darkness of the underworld. Each evening, its descent was a journey into the realm of uncertainty and shadow. The people of this land lived their lives by this celestial clock. They built their grandest temples to honor its power, and it was this very sun that a visionary pharaoh and his enigmatic queen would elevate above all other gods, an act that would change the course of their civilization and seal their city's fate. If you're fascinated by the mysteries of ancient Egypt and want to uncover more lost stories, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Join us as we continue this extraordinary journey into the past. Her name was Nefertiti. It meant the beautiful one has come, and by all accounts she was. But she was more than just a face of legendary beauty. She was a queen of immense power and influence, ruling alongside her husband, the pharaoh Akhenaten. In an age when women were often relegated to the background, Nefertiti stood in the light. She was depicted in carvings making offerings to the gods, a role once reserved for the pharaoh alone. She drove her own chariot. She was a queen, a priestess, a mother, and perhaps even a co-ruler of the most powerful empire on earth. But with great power comes great mystery. After years at the apex of Egyptian society, Nefertiti simply disappears from the historical record. It is an abrupt and chilling silence. One moment, she is everywhere, her graceful image carved into temple walls, her name praised in hymns. The next, she is gone. No record of her death has ever been found. No tomb bearing her name has ever been opened. It is as if the very civilization that had celebrated her sought to forget she ever existed. The silence surrounding her fate is one of the most profound enigmas in all of ancient history. What could cause such a complete and utter erasure? The answer may lie in the radical revolution she and her husband unleashed upon Egypt. They abandoned the pantheon of gods that had been worshipped for centuries. They turned their backs on the powerful priesthoods of Thebes. They chose to worship a single, universal deity, the Aten, the physical disk of the sun. It was a heresy of the highest order. To build their new world, they needed a new capital, far from the old centers of power. A holy city dedicated solely to their one true God, a city we know as Amarna. The whispers of this lost city, Akhenaten, the horizon of the Aten, have tantalized historians for generations. It was built from nothing, a grand vision raised from the desert sands in a remarkably short time. For a brief shining moment, it was the center of the Egyptian universe. Here, art, religion, and daily life were transformed. A new kind of realism entered the world, capturing the royal family not as impassive gods but as a living, breathing family. And at the heart of it all was Nefertiti, the Sun Queen, whose city would ultimately share her mysterious, vanishing fate. Imagine waking in Akhenaten. The sun, the Aten, crests the eastern cliffs, its rays flooding the city with light. In the grand palaces, courtiers prepare for the day. In the workshops, artisans mix vibrant pigments, their hands skilled in a new, fluid style of art that captures life in motion. Down the wide avenues, bakers are already at their ovens, the smell of fresh bread mingling with incense from household shrines. Life in this city is a constant act of devotion. Every action, from crafting a pot to building a temple, is an offering to the sun god, the source of all creation. The royal family would emerge from their palace in golden chariots. Akhenaten and Nefertiti, with their 6 daughters, would ride in procession toward the great Aten temple. The people would line the streets, not in silent reverence, but in celebration. This was a religion of light and life, not of dark tombs and hidden rituals. The temple itself was a marvel, open to the sky, with no roof to block the Aten's sacred rays. Hundreds of offering tables stood ready, piled high with bread, fruits, and flowers, a feast for the god who nourished the world. Daily life for the common people was a world away from the splendor of the palace, yet it was intertwined with the same divine purpose. Scribes sat in offices, their reed pens scratching across papyrus, keeping the records of a vast and complex administration. Soldiers patrolled the city's borders, guarding this sacred experiment from the outside world. Farmers and fishermen worked tirelessly to feed the burgeoning population. In their modest mud-brick homes, they would share meals and tell stories, their lives governed by the rising and setting of the Aten, their one and only divine provider. As dusk fell, the city would change. The vibrant colors of the day would soften into shades of purple and orange. The Aten would begin its nightly journey into the underworld, and a quiet would descend upon Akhenaten. Families would gather for their evening meal. The temple fires would be banked. It was a time for reflection, a pause in the city's relentless energy. But even in the growing darkness, the people of Amarna held on to their faith, believing with certainty that the Aten would be victorious over the night and rise again to greet them at dawn. The revolution of Akhenaten and Nefertiti was not merely religious, it was a complete reshaping of Egyptian reality. For over 1,000 years, Egypt had worshipped a complex family of gods. There was Osiris, lord of the underworld, Isis, the great mother goddess, Horus, the falcon-headed god of the sky. These deities were, deeply woven into the fabric of society. They explained the mysteries of life, death, and the cosmos. The powerful priesthoods who served them held immense wealth and political influence, rivaling even that of the pharaoh. Akhenaten declared them all false. He proclaimed that there was only one god, the Aten, and that he, the pharaoh, was its sole prophet. He closed the ancient temples, seizing their wealth and lands. He chiseled the names of the old gods from monuments, a systematic attempt to erase centuries of belief. It was, honestly, an act of breathtaking audacity. He moved the entire capital from the traditional center of Thebes to his virgin city in the desert, a physical and spiritual break from the past. For a time, it seemed the heretic's dream would succeed. But, a faith that has endured for millennia does not die easily. Far from the grand avenues of Amarna, in the villages and towns along the Nile, the old ways persisted. People whispered prayers to Osiris in secret. They wore amulets of Isis for protection. The powerful priests of Amun-Ra in Thebes, stripped of their power, waited and plotted. They saw Akhenaten not as a visionary, but as a heretic who had offended the gods and thrown the entire cosmic order, the very principle of Ma'at or balance, into chaos. They knew their time would come again. The clues to Amarna's downfall are subtle, buried in the administrative letters found in its ruins. They speak of plague, of foreign incursions, of an empire fraying at the edges. Perhaps the people began to question their pharaoh's vision. When trouble came, was the Aten alone enough to protect them? The death of Akhenaten was the breaking point. The dream had been held together by the force of his will, and with him gone, it began to unravel. The old powers saw their chance. The revolution was over. The restoration was about to begin. The end of Amarna was as swift as its creation. After Akhenaten's death, the court returned to Thebes. The boy king, Tutankhamun, reversed his father's decrees and restored the old gods to their rightful place. Akhenaten, the horizon of the Aten, was abandoned to the desert. Its temples were dismantled, its stones repurposed for new constructions. The names of Akhenaten and Nefertiti were systematically erased, their statues smashed, their legacy condemned. The city was left to the wind and the sand, and for 3,000 years it vanished from human memory. It became a ghost, a forgotten chapter. Its rediscovery was not a single moment of triumph, but a slow, painstaking process. It began with whispers, with the finding of strange tablets inscribed with an unknown diplomatic language. These Amarna letters spoke of a lost capital and a heretic king. Led by these faint clues, scholars followed the trail to a vast, crescent-shaped plain on the east bank of the Nile. There, beneath a shallow layer of sand, lay the outlines of a massive city. Not a mythical place, but a real, sprawling metropolis, its avenues and buildings laid out exactly as the ancient scribes had described. Unearthing the city was like opening a window into a frozen moment in time. The sand had preserved everything. In the ruins of houses, excavators found the tools, furniture, and personal belongings of the people who had lived there. In the workshops of sculptors they found unfinished statues, including the most iconic bust of all, the serene, beautiful face of Queen Nefertiti herself, seemingly waiting in the darkness for her story to be told once more. The city was not just a collection of ruins, it was a living testament to a family's dream and a civilization's turmoil. The rediscovery of Amarna was not just about finding a lost city. It was about recovering a lost idea. It revealed a period of unprecedented artistic freedom, religious fervor, and social upheaval. It gave us a glimpse of a different Egypt, a path not taken. It showed us the human faces behind the gilded masks of pharaohs, revealing a family with loves, losses, and a revolutionary vision that the world was not yet ready for. The silence that had been imposed on Akhenaten and Nefertiti was finally, irrevocably broken. Their voices, carried on the desert wind, could be heard once more. The sand has reclaimed much of Amarna. The mud brick walls crumble, and the grand avenues are once more just lines in the desert. Yet the city has not truly vanished. It lives on, a powerful idea that continues to captivate our imagination. The story of Akhenaten and Nefertiti is a timeless human drama of belief, rebellion, and consequence. It reminds us that history is not a static record of events, but a fragile narrative, easily rewritten or erased by those who come after. The search for their truth is a quest to restore a chapter that was intentionally torn out. Nefertiti remains the most elusive figure in this story. Did she die in Amarna? Did she outlive her husband, perhaps even ruling briefly as a pharaoh in her own right under a different name? Or was her end more tragic, a victim of the backlash against her husband's revolution? The absence of her tomb only deepens the mystery. Somewhere, perhaps in a hidden chamber in the Valley of the Kings, or in a secret tomb near Amarna itself, she may still lie waiting. Her silence is her power, a question mark at the heart of Egypt's most fascinating era. The allure of lost cities and forgotten queens speaks to a deep human longing. It is a desire to connect with a past that is grander and more mysterious than our own present. We search for these hidden worlds not just to uncover treasures of gold and stone, but to find pieces of ourselves. In the story of Amarna, we see our own struggles with change, our own search for meaning, and our own attempts to build a better world, however fleeting it may be. The ruins are a mirror, reflecting our own hopes and our own mortality. And so, the search continues, not just for a body or a tomb, but for understanding. As long as the Nile flows and the sun rises over the Egyptian desert, the story of Nefertiti will be told. She has achieved a form of immortality that even the most powerful pharaohs might envy. She is no longer just a queen of an ancient land. She has become a legend, a symbol of beauty, power, and enduring mystery. Her city may have crumbled, but her reign in the kingdom of our imagination is eternal, a beautiful mirage that we will forever chase across the sands of time.